What's up guys, Harvey here from Hutch's Welding. We're getting started to get back on the 64 F100 project. If you guys are just tuning in, I'm gonna give you a quick rundown of what we got going on. We did a startup, we did some framework. Be sure to go back and check those out. But anyway, I'll give you a quick rundown of what we got going on. 64 F100 build, finally hunted down an aluminum grill. I'm just gonna go really brief with this. We did a lot of in-depth coverage on the engine, the chassis, the powertrain and all that stuff. So I'm just gonna kind of go really quick. 24-inch Forgiatos, full custom twin turbo kit, Zona rotors, Coyote engine, billet valve covers, those are new. Boss intake, we did have this thing running with the cab off just to kind of check the engine, make sure everything works. So that's good. There's a nice startup video there. These headers, super badass. I'm very proud of these. They are equal length turbo manifolds. So this thing's gonna spool up really nice and sound really wicked. Some custom side mount intercoolers, full custom chassis, laying out, tucking up some Wilwood brakes, as if you can see in here. Got some nice polished Wilwoods in there. Just finished up the transmission tunnel. This is something new. Went ahead and gave it a nice kind of a round style. I wanted to keep it kind of clean. You're probably not going to see it. There's going to be a bunch of interior in here. Going to squeeze a Holly dash in there. Got our Forgiato wheel to match. I did a column. Let me just talk about the rear really quick. Nice big old lip 24s. Full custom cantilever rear suspension. Kind of with like a triangulated wishbone setup. You can sneak peek the chassis. Fully dimple dyed. Got some parts laid out that we're going to be mocking up for transmission cooler, line lock, Ford 9-inch. It's kind of cool, something I've been actually thinking about for a while. I've always envisioned a fuel tank to kind of follow that radius. Was able to get a nice piece rolled that's going to follow that. That's going to follow that shape. So I'm pretty excited for that. That's going to be powered by a twin Holly. Super nice drop-in setup. I really like this. It's just like an all-in-one package. You got your fuel out, return, you got your fill. It's adjustable, so this can drop, this can move up and down depending on how deep the tank is. We're gonna be running twin pumps. This is gonna be running, I would say, at least 600 wheel horsepower, very similar to my setup on 93. And we'll probably turn it up with some E85 and, you know, I don't know, we'll see what we can get out of it. Maybe another 100 horsepower, but you know, gotta have those twin pumps in there just to be safe. So that's kind of a quick rundown on the build. So we took a little break on it. We got all our pieces together and we're gonna start getting into it. We're actually getting ready to pull the cab. I do need to do a bunch of firewall work. We're gonna actually be doing a full one-piece firewall. You can see I cut the hole out to start building transmission tunnels. I'm actually gonna pull it off right here using this fancy cab puller tool, using an engine hoist. If you look back at some of our videos following C10 Mike's build, he actually created this. He used this in his garage to pick up his cab to do a bunch of chassis work on his truck. Well, that wasn't too bad. Shout out to C10 Mike for building us these tools. We actually even used his cart. As you can see, there's our chassis. You can see some of the stuff that we did. Better view it, everything. But there's our cab. We're gonna start doing some metal work in the front and get this thing all wrapped up. We got the cab on its back, and we're cleaning up the whole bottom side of it. You know, we had some overlap on a lot of places, so we're just gonna go ahead and clean that all off, obviously flatten it out, you know, get it all grinded down in case there's definitely a few spots that were missed, some weird corners that we just couldn't really be able to get to, so we'll go ahead and fill all those in. Seal it, you know, we'll throw some bed liner undercoating under it. We also started fabbing up, mocking up our firewall, so that's kind of a gist of it, just a little sneak peek, you know, just a template. Decided to do it all out of one piece, you know, one shot. That's about it, so enjoy the show. So we got our underside right where we want it. Spots we missed or imperfections we took care of. So now we're gonna go ahead and spray it. Just some undercoating, basic undercoating, nothing fancy, just to get it sealed up under here. Well, there you have it. Bottom side fully painted, all sealed up. Tunnel is done. Well, you're probably wondering what all this was about, so I can explain it to you. Basically, changed out this front cowl piece to a nice dimple dyed unit. There was some rust. There was some rust repair I had to do, and I ended up taking the slip off because I needed some clearance for the intake. So kind of snowballed into this, but I think it came out kind of cool. And as an added bonus, my theory is serves as a heat extractor, because all the heat from the engine bay will pass through here and out the cowl there. So nice little added bonus, but I think that came out pretty cool. We'll get our panel on there and get it all finished up. All right, guys, so we're working on our core support for the F100. We had done some extensive modifications already. This had like a headlight bucket kind of area, like a recess. So we basically took a whole section out of it and filled it in with a nice flat piece. But then I can show you when I flip this over, this actually just kind of ducts in to mount our intercoolers, and I'll get all this together. I'm basically making a new AC condenser mount, some brackets for it. Vintage Air actually has a really nice kit. 2 mounts, 61 to 64, their condenser kit for a 61 to 64 core support. Unfortunately, with the intercooler packaging and the radiator packaging and the way everything's gonna be plumbed, it doesn't fit exactly perfect, you know? So of course we have to make custom things, but you know, what else is new? So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm just making some new brackets for it. There's a few pieces that I'm gonna use. So I actually like the kit, it's pretty decent. So for anyone that has like a early 60s F100, wants a Vintage Air kit, it's all good, it's all there. Got cool brackets to bolt in everywhere. Let's get to it. All right, so this is how our core support is gonna be packaged. We have our custom intercoolers that were custom hand built here in-house. We have a nice big old core. We made these end tanks, welded on all our HD clamps, both sides. Usually I do a center intercooler like I did on my truck, but I wanted to try something different here, and I really like how it separates it. I think for packaging purposes, it works really well. I don't have AC on my truck, so that's kind of where the room for the intercooler went. With the condenser in the front here, it definitely makes packaging a lot tighter. So came out with a side mount option. I like this, I like the way it works. We're gonna do some really cool, I like a merge Y into the throttle body with these two coming in together. So the radiator is actually gonna sit a little bit lower. I'm sure it's kind of hard to see what's going on here because we have the core support obviously laying down, and this is like the back side of it, but it kind of lays out everything really well. So I thought it'd just be a good chance to show you what we got going on. Side mount intercoolers, the condensers, you know, sitting back there just kind of mocked up, and then basically where everything is going to lie, the radiator is actually going to sit kind of low. We are going to have a filler neck thinking come out somewhere, probably in the front, you know, hide it somewhere, make it look sharp. Just a universal radiator that I found that fits the proper dimensions. So I'll make some brackets off to the side. We're going to get cranking on these brackets for the condenser, so let's get to it. I'm gonna flip this thing around so you get a better look at it, but I wanted to show the new hood latch that Vintage Air provides. I did have to clearance it a little bit. I'm probably gonna have to clearance it a little bit more. It's a little too close for my comfort. Just so you have an idea, it basically removes that entire center support and then provides you with a new latch. So, you know, slight modifications required, but let's flip this thing around so you got a better idea of what it looks like. We got the grill, and of course, you know, we can't let anything go without dimple dyeing it. So we're gonna give it some nice dimple dyes. We don't want to obstruct any airflow, so of course when we dimple dye it, give it a little bit of velocity flowing in. So that's gonna be really cool. I'm excited to see that. Even up here, as you can see, we want to be able to give it some nice airflow coming through. But there's the condenser. We modified the core support and we gave it some nice ducting for the intercooler. So there's gonna be plenty of airflow for the intercooler, plenty of airflow going through our condenser, and of course we have our radiator behind it. So let's finish up these brackets and get to it. All right, there it is. You can see our intercooler's peeking through here. And we got our little bracket with our dimple dye holes. You see it peeking through there. I think that's pretty trick. Pop this off, get a better look. See what I mean with the intercoolers? Nice and flush. Little ducting just to get all the maximum airflow. Little dimple dye bracket down here. All right, everything looks pretty good. We'll start getting everything else mocked up and go from there. All right, guys, just wanted to give you a quick little update what we got going on. We're actually building a fuel tank for our 64 F100 build, as you can see here. I already got the tank mocked up, tacked up, but just wanted to showcase really quick kind of the idea. So it's gonna sit in this area. I made a kind of an intricate piece. I wanted to follow this this roll radius here, so we kind of followed that same kind of pattern on the tank. We're gonna have our twin pump set up in here. We do have a hole for the vent slash rollover, and then of course our fuel level. And we got our baffles tacked in inside of there, and there's a cap that's gonna be going over that. So wanted to get you guys a visual of what's going on, how it's gonna look, and we'll get this thing over to the welding bench and get to work. All right, so here's our cap. As you can see, we got our fuel tank, so let's get to welding. Stay tuned, lots to come.